Hello again. So in my last video, I talked about setting goals, and I touched on a weakness of mine. I'm going to share with you a weakness. I suck at following through. I'm really bad at it. And mostly it's just following through on my goals, things that just pertain to me. If someone else is depending on me for something, I feel that I'm really good at following through with that. But when it comes to myself, interestingly enough, I'm horrible at following through. What's the reason for that? One of the reasons, if I'm really being honest, is what will happen. This is my cycle. This is my problem. And maybe this is relatable to you. Maybe you've experienced this exact thing. I mean, let me know in the comments if that is common. If this is common, you've experienced this, let me know, because that would be good perspective for me. But I set a goal and I start knocking it out. And about halfway into it, I start to see that it's doable. And all of a sudden, I don't want it anymore. Like magic, just poof, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. And you know, this term of fear of success. Well, that's never made a whole lot of sense to me, because for me, I'm like, no, it's not the success that I'm afraid of, and it's not really, and it's not a fear. What I've realized for me, maybe there's some fear in there, and I haven't identified it. I'll acknowledge that. But a big part of it is I really like the fight of seeking after something that seems really hard and out there, and I love the fight part of it. And then when I see that I'm starting to win, there's a piece of me that goes, I don't want this to be over yet. I don't want this to be, this fight to be over. I always imagine, I tried to be a soldier back in the day, and due to health reasons, my recruiter said, well, the military won't even let you lick windows for them, is what they said. So it wasn't going to happen for me. But I think in those terms sometimes, and I think, man, I think I would really like to be a soldier, and I would like the fight. And I imagine if I was in a really good fight and we were winning, there would be a part of me that would be like, I don't want this to be over. I like this. This is fun. Of course, I've never been in that situation, so I really don't know. But there's just that idea that I notice that I like the fight of something. And so maybe that's a problem you have too, where it's like the fight of it is almost better than getting it. And then when you start to get to it, accomplishing that goal, you realize the accomplishment of the goal is the end of the fight. And the fight is maybe a greater purpose than whatever the goal was. So what's the answer to this? Well, as I was pondering, here's an idea. I can't really say, because I'm not amazing at this, right? I'm not this guru about all this stuff, but here's an idea. Don't make it about you. That was a phrase that really imprinted on me after I had a friend and a mentor who was trying to help me get into law enforcement with some different places, which again didn't work out for a bunch of random reasons. But I got the opportunity to do some incredible training with him, and he had a tragic mountain biking accident. But at his funeral, that was one of the things that was one of his personal mantras was that it's not about you. And I've noticed that with myself, if I can make my fight not about me, even if I like the fight of it, someone else is depending on this. If I'm just depending on this, it's really easy for me to say, I don't really need it. I don't really need that thing. That's fine. And I can pass up on anything. I'm very good at that. And that doesn't bother me so much. That's the thing, is like passing up on stuff doesn't bother me so much. Maybe there's some freedom in that. I don't know. But some laziness probably in it, maybe too. But if somebody else needs it, then you can do it. Then I seem to get all the way through. And so that's a perspective I'm working on, really, honing in on, is that I'm not trying to understand business so that I can make a bunch of money, so that I can play and have a fun time and yada yada. I'm not doing that. I need to make sure that my whys are deeper than just me. Now I have a family and I have children, and they're the first why. Well, God is actually always the first why, but they're the second, and they're a part of the first why as well, family being eternal. And they have needs, and maybe they don't need a ski boat, or maybe they don't need this huge whopping house or all this stuff. But I suspect and hypothesize that if I zero in on the deep why, they need me to understand business and to be able to understand it so well that I can actually produce evidence of that understanding, then my belief is that will be a fuel that isn't going to run out. So anyway, that's where I'm at in that problem. That's a little weakness of mine I was going to share, and that's about as far as I am at solving that problem, thinking of some things, and something I gotta keep digging into. Again, I'm riddled with, I feel like I'm a person who's riddled with weakness. I'm grateful to be able to see it, but it does make it challenging sometimes, and it's like, man, I could spend forever on each problem. So, and that is a problem in and of itself. So there you go. Lots of problems. This is what learning and growing looks like, and you've experienced it, and you're still experiencing it, and we're all experiencing this, and it's kind of, it's frustrating when other people look like they figured it out faster than you, but this is it. So if you want to see an example there it is. Anyway, I love you. Good work. Keep it up.